Hi guys, for this week's assignment, you should have watched the video about Zentangles. The next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk to you just a little bit about the art element of line, and then I'm gonna show you how you can take line, turn it into patterns, and create your own Zentangles. So let's get started, okay? All right guys, let's get started. Just for a quick review, how many of you can remember the definition of a line? Oh, very good. Some of you can remember. It looks like some of you might have forgotten though, so let's very quickly go ahead and review that. A line is basically just a dot. And if you remember, that dot has to travel through space from one point to another point. So let's just go ahead and let this guy take a walk. And there we go. We have a line. This line just happens to be straight. Goes from point A to point B. Now, I think we all know that lines do not have to be straight. You may have a dot that wants to take a walk, and he might be a little bit wild and crazy. And so he's gonna go on his walk just all over the place. There we go, and he stops right there. So that is a line. It's a dot that traveled from one point all the way to another point, all right? Now, we know that lines don't always have to be straight. They don't always have to be loop-de-loop. Sometimes they can be zigzags. So here's some zigzags. Zigzags are pretty sharp and pointy. You know a line could possibly be broken. So here's my broken line right here, all the way down. If a line can be broken, then a line can be made out of dots. So let's make a dotted line. Here's my dotted line right here. Looking pretty awesome, if I say so myself. A line could look even like the edges or the top of a castle. Up, down, up, down, up, down. All right, you can stop wherever I decide he needs to stop. You might need a bumping line sometimes, so let's go ahead and put a bumping line in here. All right, maybe you feel like drawing a wavy line. So let me find a place I can toss in that wavy line. We'll do that little guy right here. Looks like water just a little bit. And then the last one that I'm gonna remind you of is the spiral. The spiral is kind of like a swirly line. You might think about a cinnamon roll or a snail shell. All right, I like drawing spirals so much, I'm gonna add another one right there. All right, so there's many different types of line. Now then, you can take these lines and you can turn them into patterns. I'm gonna show you some examples of Zentangles. These were actually shown in the video. So basically, a Zentangle is just a way for an artist to take different lines and turn them into patterns. You are not gonna try to draw an object, you're not gonna try to draw something that's representational. You just want to really focus on patterns and line and making those patterns nice and tight and neat and as interesting as possible. All right, this one has lots of different patterns. You know, it looks like fish scales, it looks maybe like pebbles or eyes. You might have diamond patterns. So lots of different things going on, rainbows. All right, for the materials that you might need, I'm gonna suggest if you have any just plain white paper, that would probably be the best, like copy paper if you have a printer at home, so just plain white paper. However, you might not have any plain white paper at home, that's totally okay. Probably the next best thing would be to use a piece of notebook paper. I really like drawing on notebook paper. I think the lines add a little bit of detail to our artwork and just a little extra, you know, pizzazz. So whatever kind of paper you have will be just fine. All right, if you start with a piece of notebook paper, you're gonna want to make your paper smaller. So I would recommend just taking your paper and folding it in half. So we're gonna fold the paper in half, and then we're gonna fold it in half again. A Zentangle is not meant to be a large piece of artwork. They're meant to be very small, usually about 6 inches by 6 inches. And this is going to be a little bit smaller than that, so that'll be just right. Don't worry about the holes. You can totally turn those into the pattern if you need to. All right, I'm going to be using a pen for this assignment. If you have a marker, that might be too thick. You're wanting your lines to be as thin as possible. So if you have just a regular pen, like a ballpoint pen, that would be the best thing to use. The next best thing that you might want to use would be a pencil. All right, but I'm going to use this. It will show up for the purposes of making a video. After you have folded your paper into 2 folds, it should look like a little card. You can write your name inside the card. The next step is to sketch very lightly a border around the edge of your paper. Your line does not have to be straight. That's the cool thing about Zentangles. We're not looking for complete perfection here. Just want to get it nice and light. It just helps frame in your artwork. All right, so there, I hope you can see that border that I drew around the edge of the paper. It's kind of like a frame. All right, the next step is you're going to draw some threads inside this frame to break up this large space. We're going to break up this large space into smaller sections. Your lines can be straight or they can be curvy, however you want to do it, but just keep them nice and light. I'm trying to get these so that you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm trying to go the right way. There we go. All right, so after you have your paper divided into approximately 5 to 7 sections, you're going to start creating patterns. So I'm going to start by just drawing circles, and I'm drawing them kind of big. There we go. So that's a very basic pattern. I'm going to take that basic pattern, and now I'm going to add another smaller pattern inside that first pattern. So I'll add more circles. Another big circle right there. There you go. All right, I still have lots of room inside that section, so I'm going to fill that in with more circle pattern. Let's see, I think I could make these circles so big that they literally start running into each other. I kind of like that. There we go. They're just so big. All right. I'm gonna stop the video here, and I'm going to work really, really fast and see if I can't finish this Zentangle for you. Okay, so hold on. Okay, here is my finished Zentangle. I noticed that I have a nice clean border around the edge. Remember, that was one of the first things that I did. The next thing I did was section off that space into, I don't know, I think I did like 7 different sections. And then inside each one of those sections, there's a pattern. And I started with a large pattern, and then my patterns that I added were smaller and smaller. So the more complex you can get these patterns, the more interesting it will look. You're going to be using a variety of patterns, so don't get stuck just using the same pattern over and over and over. All right, you can refer back to the videos for ideas on patterns. You just play that video and then pause it where you want to pause it and look at those patterns, and that might help you get some ideas on different types of pattern. All right, another thing that I need to remind you of is that a Zentangle, you know, has the word Zen in it. All right, so let's scoot this out of the way just for a second. Let's write this word, Zen. What does the word Zen make you think of? All right, yeah, it means to meditate or to relax or to have a very calm state of mind. Zentangles were actually created for artists to draw these and to help them relax and help them become more focused and help them concentrate better. So if you're having a rough time, or you just need to do something different, or maybe you have some stress going on, you can actually work on your Zentangles, and that will help you to find a little bit of calmness and help you relax. All right, that's what that word Zen means, meditation and to find some calm. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you guys. If you have any questions about this, please send me an email or give me a phone call. But you do need to do these assignments. These are not just things, that I'm putting out here just because I feel like it. You are required to do these art assignments. So if you're still having any problems, give me a phone call, send me an email. We'll get that stuff worked out for you, okay? I cannot wait to see your Zentangle, so make sure you take a picture of it, and you can either email me the picture or you can upload it as a submission. However you need to do it, get it done, okay? I'm trying to think one more thing. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm just kind of rambling here, so I'm gonna let you guys get your paper, get your pen, and get to work. I'll see you next time.